The date is November 4th, 2018. The location is the Yankee Air Museum in Belleville, Michigan. The time is 11:45 a.m. And today, the person being interviewed is Jane Biestek. Jane was born on January 28th, 1925. Jane worked at the Ford River Rouge plant in Detroit, Michigan during World War II. This interview will be conducted by Claire Kitchen-Dahl, and this interview is being videotaped by Gary Delisle. Observers present today are Karen Biestek and Joan Delisle. This interview is being conducted on behalf of the Oral History Project at the Yankee Air Museum in Belleville, Michigan. Jane, thank you for coming to the Yankee Air Museum today to share your memories of working at the Ford River Rouge plant during the war years. By preserving your story of working on the home front during World War II, our national narrative will be more complete, honest, accurate, and colorful. Primary documentation is vital to any study of that world conflict, and we appreciate your willingness to help fill in the gaps. Please state your full name, including your maiden name.
Jane Laird Biestek.
Where and when were you born?
I was born January 28, 1925.
And where?
In Washoe, well, actually Bear Creek.
Bear Creek, what state?
Montana.
Bear Creek, Montana. That means on your next birthday, you're going to be 94 years old?
Yes.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Now, if you were born in Bear Creek, Montana, but what's important about where you were born? In the hotel?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
They had a hotel in the small town of Bear Creek, and it was called the Lamport Hotel. And my mom was working for a banquet there, and she was getting the dishes in the dishwasher, and she got pains, and they rushed me up to the second floor, and I was born that day. So, born that evening.
So did you and your mom get to stay overnight in the hotel?
Yes.
Just one night, and then you went home?
Right.
Did she normally work at the hotel, or was this special?
Yeah, and that's how it all happened.
Well, you're one of the only people I know born in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what were the names of your parents?
My parents, my dad was Edward James Laird, and my mom was Mary Colston Laird. Yeah, Mary Colston.
So
Laird.
Edward and Mary are your mom and dad. And what do you know about them? Or what do you remember about them coming to Montana? How did they get there?
Well, back then it was all trains. She traveled by the train, and they decided to come because they were needing people to work in the coal mine.
Cool. Were they immigrants?
Yes, they came over when 10 and 12.
And where did they come from?
They came from
What country?
Clinton. Oh, from them they came from Scotland.
They came from Scotland. So they were
Yes.
immigrants to America and came to Montana by the train.
Yeah.
And your father then was a coal miner.
Yes.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I had a sister and a brother.
And what were their names?
Faye, and then she married a fellow named Closter. And my mother was, what was it you said?
Okay, so your siblings, Faye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Faye is your older sister.
Right, and then I had my brother Jimmy, and then me.
And then so you're the baby.
I'm the baby.
You're the baby. Faye was born in 1922. You told me Jimmy was quickly born in 23.
Yes.
And then we have that hotel episode
Right.
with you in 1925. And what was the name of the town that you grew up in Montana?
Washoe, Montana.
Washoe, Montana. What can you tell us about growing up in Washoe? What was it like?
It was just a small town. There would be a house, and then you'd have to go a little ways for another house. And you had to walk to the store, which was quite a ways, and the mail was bought. We had to walk to get our mail. Then when the winter was bad, they would bring it in the grocery truck that came.
Now, what was your house like? What kind of living conditions did you have in Washoe?
Well, we had a coal stove, and that's how we kept this room warm. The children, like me, had to be in a bedroom with one of these old-time stoves that had the isinglass window.
Oh, like a Franklin stove,
Yes,
some sort.
potbelly
Yeah.
stove. And it kept us pretty warm.
Did you have separate bedrooms?
My brother slept in a small room off on the side, and my sister and I slept in the living room on a couch that made into a bed.
So you and Faye had to share a bed all these times,
Right.
keeping each other warm,
Right.
keeping each other from giggling at night.
Right.
Did you have plumbing in your house?
Nope. We had to walk to the outhouse.
And-
It's pretty cold.
I bet it was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about water?
Water, we had a well, and we had it tested to make sure the water was good, and it was 97% good water. And all our teeth were very good because of the lime would get so bad in the tea kettle when she'd boil it for tea, you'd have to take a knife and take all the calcium off. So we all had good teeth. Now they're falling apart.
Well, we're not going to talk about that.
I know.
No, we're not. Now, Ed, you had said rather than a refrigerator, what did you use in Washoe?
We went out and made a little hole in the snow and set it in there.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And you had a root cellar?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, we used to take our potatoes and our carrots and put them in layers of sand, and then we'd, clean off the old lid and go down there and scrape it off and have potatoes and stew. Yeah.
So you always had good food during the winter, it didn't matter?
Yes, my mom was a very good cook.
Did she have a garden?
We had a garden in the summer. We ate off the garden.
Good, good. And you had a front porch on this house?
No, we just had a small strip, and Dad's old car, he says, I'm going to take that couch out, and he says, I'm going to put it outside. So we thought we had luxury because we sat on a leather couch outside.
That's fabulous. That's a nice memory of sitting there on a couch in a little house in Washoe with great water from the well.
Oh, yes, and everybody drank from the same dipper.
Really?
Yes, we had a washstand, and they would, we'd go out and we'd play ball, and we'd come in, we're thirsty. Well, your turn. We never washed the dipper. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How about milk? Did you have a cow?
And the lady across the way, we had a creek that ran between us and her, and she had 2 cows. And we had a little bucket, and we'd go over, and we'd drink the milk warm. So we're lucky, I guess.
No one ever got sick.
No one ever.
Good water, good milk, good vegetables in the cellar. That sounds like a nice thing.
Yes.
Did you have a radio in your house?
Yes, an old-fashioned radio. And when the war broke out, I remember my dad down there with his ear real close to listen to.
Do you remember listening to that radio for entertainment, for like stories or programs?
My sister learned me how to dance by the radio.
Really?
Because I was getting to that age where we could, go out dancing at some of the clubs there.
Well, then it's a good thing you had an older sister, right?
Oh, yeah, she was great.
How about winters? What were your winters like in Washoe?
Well, we had one time such a snowstorm that my uncle had to come over and clean the door off so we could open the door. It was really bad. We sort of was in a valley too, and the main road to Red Lodge, which was 3 miles from us, we were right on the curve. And as the cars and trucks would go by, they would throw the snow at us too. So that didn't help.
And you had to walk to school still in the winter?
One time the school closed down because it was going to be quite a storm, and my mother had to take our scarves and put it around her, almost past her eyes, you know, because the wind was just blowing. And she led us home. She came and picked us up.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what mothers do.
Yeah.
They come for things like that. Speaking about school, tell us about your education. Where did you go to school, or what was the school building like?
Yeah, well, the school building ended up being a church and a school and a place for people to meet and talk and stuff and have our Christmas parties, yeah. It was a small school.
Yeah, it was like a social gathering, a community
Right.
gathering hall then too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And did you particularly like any of your subjects or your teachers?
Yeah, our music teacher was quite nice. She had us all take and get in her van, and she took us down into Belfry and that, and we sang Western songs at Christmas, and it was really nice.
Oh, that is nice.
Around a campfire, we had it dreamed up like that, you know. Each one of us had a solo to sing, and yeah.
I like special memories like that of schools and friends and
Right.
nice
right.
times.
Yes, yeah.
Now, did you go to high school?
Then we had to go to high school, which was 2 miles from us, which was in Bear Creek.
Bear Creek, Montana. And
Yes,
did you graduate?
No, I didn't because of a coal mine explosion. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's mention here before we talk about that. You did not graduate, but did you hear about the attack on Pearl Harbor on the radio?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about that?
The president saying something about infamy, go down in infamy or something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your whole family sitting there and listening to this?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, after Pearl Harbor, what did your brother Jimmy do?
He was, my dad tried to get him into the coal mine, but he wouldn't go down. So he worked on what they call the tipple. And you examine some of the coal. If it's bad, like you throw them out, you know.
But did Jimmy join the service?
Then he volunteered because he didn't wait to be drafted or anything.
So he volunteered in what service?
Because he wanted to get into a certain one, and he got into the Coast Guards.
He got into the Coast Guard then, after Pearl Harbor. Okay. And so tell me about his volunteering. Do you remember where he went after he volunteered and he signed
he
up?
took our town didn't have the train or anything, and he had to take a bus to Billings, Montana, which is about 65 miles from there. And he enlisted, and then being as that was the big town, that's where he had to enlist, and then he was shipped out to Anchorage, Ketchikan, I think was the name of the town.
So he went to Alaska. So he went to an even colder place than Montana.
Right.
And then
he was good in manual training, which was making wooden tables and things like that for the mess hall. And he says, I didn't join to do this. He says, I want to see some action. So my cousin, Clement Lodge, had enlisted with him. And they said, well, you raise your hand who wants to go, you know. And Jimmy raised his hand. I met my cousin in Oregon, and I said, I wonder why Jimmy wanted to go. And he said, well, he wanted to see some action. And he says, I was scared. So he was in there, and then he came home when Dad was killed. And then he went back, and then he was killed there.
So Jimmy went to the Coast Guard, and he went from your Montana place to Alaska, and then he said, I want more action, so he went into...
Volunteered on an ammunition ship.
Onto an ammunition ship. All right, so what happened that really changed your life drastically when you were in high school? Tell us about the mine that your father worked at.
Well, whenever Dad went to work one day, and when he came home, he said to my mother, there's so much coal dust going around, and his face was all black. And he said, somebody lights a match, we're going to get blowed up. And the next morning at 11 o'clock, they blew the whistle that there had been a big explosion. So we lost 74 miners.
74 miners from your little town.
I lost a cousin, an uncle, and
And your father.
and my father.
And that was the Smith mine disaster of 1943.
Yes.
Because of that, I know, I was reading some articles about it, and it led to all kinds of new investigations and safety standards and many new regulations about the
yes.
coaling industry.
Yeah, they had to change a lot.
Were you in town when it actually happened?
Yes, I was at my girlfriend's. A lot of little towns had different names for it. It was called Scotch Coulee because most of the people up there were Scotch. So I just spent the night at her place, and all of a sudden we hear the big whistles going, and it blew those whistles all morning. And that was when the miners were all killed.
So you knew something desperately different was happening
Yes,
with these
yes.
whistles blowing the whole time. How did it affect your little town?
Well, we had to move because we didn't have any money, and my sister gave us money to go, and they took us to the train station, and we took it to Billings, Montana.
So, well,
and
almost every family was involved in this, right?
Right, yeah. It hit the whole town. And my mother says, I can't spend another time here, she said, because you just meet people and you just cry, you know.
Right. Jane, I took this from an article that was written in the Billings Gazette. It was 1988, and this is what it says about that mining disaster. In 1943, the work whistles were always blowing southeast of Red Lodge in the mining town of Bear Creek. World War II had given new life to the declining coal community. American manufacturers had become increasingly desperate for coal to fire factories straining to produce guns, tanks, ammunition, and other equipment for the Allied forces. All the time it was get the coal out, a miner's wife told the news. I don't really blame anyone for it, but it was always get the coal, get the coal. Everyone needed coal all over the country. This incident, now known as the Smith mine disaster, killed off nearly 20% of Bear Creek's residents. 92% were immigrants of Scottish, Slavic, Finnish, or English heritage. This accident happened in the first years of the Second World War. Each of these men was doing what they thought they could for their country, and each gave their lives, although not on a battlefield, but in a dark hole from which they were stripping coal. Each man has left a living memory for those who were destined to go on. And you are the living destiny of your father, your cousin, and an uncle from that disaster. You should be very proud of them, but it certainly changed your life, didn't it?
It sure did. So that's why I didn't graduate.
So you didn't graduate, because of this sign. So then you and your mother left your town. How did you get to the Detroit area?
My uncle lived over here by Veterans Hospital, used to be Veterans Hospital, and he said, I hear, he says, they're really hiring there. He said, I can get you in if you and your mom will get over there. So we did. They gave us money and we traveled there. And I came on the 3rd of July, and the 5th of July I was working at Ford's.
So you were working at the Ford River Rouge plant.
Right.
How did you get here? Was it all train, truck?
No, we got the train at Billings, Montana, and came right on into
Came
Detroit.
right in to the old Detroit station.
Right.
And your mom did not work at the River Rouge plant. Did she get a job someplace?
Yes, she got a job at in Dearborn at let's see, what was it? Well, they sold a lot of little clothes and stuff, and she worked in the baby department.
Oh, good.
And she liked that.
Well,
yeah.
good. So both of you came, you changed your lives desperately she got a job in the community and you got a job at the
Yeah.
River Rouge plant at this particular point. What was your job at River Rouge?
Riveting,
And what were you riveting?
the B-24 bomber.
The B-24 bomber, which part of the bomber?
I was around the cockpit.
Around the cockpit. Did you have to take special classes to learn to rivet?
Nope, that's how desperate they were.
So what did they do? Just give you a gun and say, go?
Yes, and it was very heavy, the gun too. But we really worked good. Barry Como's cousin, Ruby Drake, was my bucker.
Now, what is a bucker?
Bucker is underneath in the skin. I put the rivet in the skin, and then I give her notice that I'm there, and she's underneath and has to hold her hand up. That gives her a signal that we're ready to go. And she was very strong, and we never blew a hole in the skin. If ever you see a plane that has a piece of the aluminum stripping like that, somebody made a mess and they had to clean it up like that. But we were pretty fast in our department, because when I would give her a notice, I'd put the gun here and we'd just go the whole length of my arm. Then you had an apron, you'd put all the rest of the rivets back in and go again, you know. So it was just a constant running like that, you know, and then you were up high.
You're up high, so you never had any patches that you people had. You two never needed to patch the plane. You were perfect on this. Did you always use the same size rivets?
Yes, my area was the same size. Mm-hmm.
And so a bucker is adding resistance to your rivet that's being put in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you just learned on the job. Do you think you were paid extra for being a riveter?
No, everybody was paid a certain, amount.
Now, your gun was heavy.
Yes.
And did you have to, was there an assembly line for these airplanes?
No, I had to climb a ladder, go across the scaffold, and then go to my position there and just rivet, yeah.
And then when you were finished your spot...
We did it really fast. We put a plane out a day.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So then when you were, once that cockpit was done, they moved the cockpit on and they brought a new one in for you? There wasn't a moving assembly line?
No, we weren't on a line.
Okay. And then once you had your nose cones riveted, what did they do with those nose cones? Do you know?
Then they went to Willow Run. And that's where they were assembled together.
So you were part of...
See, this was a tire plant.
Mm-hmm.
And the president said that we've got to, and they did a lot of the places that, a lot of the girls didn't work at Willow Run. They worked at different places where they made them into the thing to make the planes, you know.
Right. So you were part of the Willow Run, well, you were part of the B-24 Liberator bomber assembly line, even though you weren't at Willow Run. You were just making parts for Willow Run, and you and Ruby just kept pushing along.
Yes.
That's
why we have that signal.
Good for you. Did you and Ruby stay in touch after the war?
No, we lost her. She was Perry Como's cousin.
She was Perry Como's cousin?
But you tell the young kids today and they don't know who Perry Como was.
Oh, that's a good one too. I like that. You're filled with good stories. Okay. Not only were you born in a hotel, you were a partner of Perry Como's cousin. That's great. Okay. Did you, excuse me, did you feel that they were asking you to work too quickly, too fast?
No, but we made sure that when I gave her the signal, we didn't have any mess-up job.
That's great. Was it noisy?
Yes.
Did you have earplugs or anything?
No.
You just had to...
That's why I went outside for lunch.
How about, was it too hot to be in the factory at times?
It wasn't really that hot on account of it. The windows at Ford's there, they slanted out, and you got a nice full air passage.
Good. How about cold? Was it cold in the winter with all those windows?
Oh, we didn't. We just suffered. We didn't open the windows.
So you don't remember freezing while you were in there. You were just, it was a colder time, but not uncomfortably.
Right.
How about, was it dirty?
Yeah, well, they have to take the floor and put like an oil on it. So your floor is kind of black, but it wasn't slippery.
Okay.
But I don't know what the reason for that was, but we had that kind of smell from the whatever they sprayed the floor with.
Right. So it smelled like a factory, if nothing
yes,
else. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And then you said you got a lunch break. So what did you have for lunch and where did you eat your lunch?
I just made a sandwich and stuff, and I went out to the back door and sat by the old stinky river, Rouge, the Rouge River, and watched the ships come in. Yeah. But to me, from a small town where there isn't much going on, everything was just really, boy, this is Hollywood. But we were working for the war.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind of sandwich you normally brought?
Oh, bologna.
Bologna.
Bologna, yes.
Do you eat bologna today?
Yes,
You do.
yes.
Do you fry it the way lots of people used to fry bologna?
Yes, so when you fry it, you know, it can come in a hump, and then you make mashed potatoes and put it inside there, and you got your potato and your meat, and then a vegetable. Yeah.
I've never heard
It
of
was
putting...
hard living, I'll tell you there.
Yeah.
We'd have very bad winters, yeah.
Never heard of putting mashed potatoes in bologna. I do know that coal workers used to use pasties a lot with, you know,
Yes, yeah.
so you probably have had a lot of pasties.
Yeah, and the Scotch are noted for their pasties.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Now, did you have a place to check in when you came to work every day?
You punched a card.
And then,
And then you had to go to the crib. They lock up the machinery at night, you know, so you had to go give the password, and they handed you your thing.
So
oh
you
yeah,
picked
you
up-
had to be responsible for that.
sure, you checked
air
in, you
gun.
picked up your materials, you picked up your riveting gun, and
Mm-hmm.
were the rivets already where you were going to be, or did you have to carry a bag of rivets?
They had them in metal containers there. I just filled my apron with the size I needed.
Oh, so what about an outfit? Did you have a special outfit to wear?
It was you had to wear slacks, and you had a tunic thing that came down, and we had pockets in there, and we used to put cotter key for putting the drill in. Then they got to where they brought our skins already drilled,
Oh,
so we didn't have to use the drill.
so they were even becoming more efficient while you were
Well,
there.
they were hurrying, get it going.
Yeah, saving time.
Yeah.
What shift did you work?
I always worked the day shift.
Do you remember what hours they were?
6 in the morning to 4, and sometimes 4:30 before I got out.
What days of the week?
We didn't work Sundays.
You did not work Sundays, so you were working 6 days a week,
6
all of
days
those
a week.
hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Taking a bus there,
taking a bus to get there and then a bus to get home.
right? And you'd have to wait in the winter for the bus coming, and it's cold.
That's a long day.
Yes.
It's a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know a lot of people while you were waiting for the bus? Were there friends from your neighborhood or where you were living?
Well, when we were living with my uncle and his daughter, she got pregnant, and they wanted to use our room for the baby. So they said they knew of someone that was renting their basement. So lo and behold, we rented the basement, and next door I married the guy who he came home from the service.
Okay, don't tell us the romance yet.
Oh,
We'll get
no.
to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, now did you have a special ID badge?
Yes, uh-huh.
And what can you tell us about that badge? What kind of stuff was on it, or what?
Oh, yeah. You had to put your color of your eyes, your weight, and you had to have your thumbprint on it, and it had your whole history.
And your
on it.
picture?
Yeah, yes.
And did you have to wear it every day, all day?
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so do you remember where you were in the factory? Where did you work? What gate or what area?
I started the 5th of July.
Mm-hmm.
I came and we were all set around the 4th, and it was 4th of July here, and the next day I reported to work.
You were a red, white, and
Yes.
blue Rosie at that point.
But so many had to go to the school, and that bothered me why I didn't go to school, you know. But that's how fast they wanted the things done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what about your pay?
We started out, I think it was something like 70 cents an hour or something. But it ended up that I was getting $100 a week.
$100 a week. Now, that's good pay at that
That was
particular
good
point.
pay.
So you felt that it was good and fair?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you do with your money?
My mom and I just put it together and saved it to go back home when my brother would get out of the war.
Okay, so you took
could
some
train
trips.
home.
You took some trips back to Montana to see, because Faye was back there.
She was still there.
Was she married?
Yes, and she was pregnant at the time of the coal mine disaster.
Okay. So you used your money to live and to pay your bills, but also
yeah.
to go back
Yeah,
occasionally.
it was a hard time. I tell
It
you.
was. It was.
But everybody had it.
Yeah,
It hurt us all. But
absolutely.
a small town like ours, everybody went everywhere.
What do you remember about your coworkers or your supervisors at River Rouge? Did people get along? Were there fights or problems or?
No, we didn't. Everybody, and the men we didn't have that many men working around us, mostly girls. And, but the men were very kind. In fact, when they called and said that my brother was killed, he came over to the scaffold. He says, "Come on down, Jane." He said, "I gotta tell you something." So I went down and he said, "Your mom's ill. You have to go home." So I went and he took me home because we had rode the buses.
Right.
And the pastor was there with my mom, and it was first they told us that Jimmy was missing in action, and then they confirmed it with a telegram that he had passed away.
So you're saying that this supervisor was particularly kind to you.
Yes.
And most of them were fine. You didn't have any trouble with
Yeah.
coworkers or
I
anything?
think Willow Run had more of the men. I
Okay.
think they had a bigger, see, they just took the tire plant, and the president said we got to get, and most of the girls that worked at these other plants, that was the same incident there. They were doing other stuff, but they changed it to these
Right.
areas for making the planes.
Do you remember if many of the women on the line were troubled with child care? Were most of these single women, or did you hear anyone talking about the need for child care?
Well, they had something out by Willow Run that they made where the people could stay in these houses, and they had a church there for them, and
Yeah.
tried
The
to help
village.
the women, yeah, as much as they could.
Do you remember seeing any black women, African American women on the line?
No, but it was, well, it wasn't called the line.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, no.
Well, now you've mentioned Jimmy because your supervisor came and got you at this particular point, and you said he was killed in the war. Do you remember what ship he was on and what happened?
It was the USS Serpents.
The Serpens, Serpens.
Right.
Okay.
And they have a monument at Arlington Cemetery. It's not, they tell you on the tram when you go in that it wasn't the biggest ship, but biggest monument, but the one with the most amount of names on it.
Incredible, because this was an ammunition ship that blew up January 29th, 1945. And so it is still listed as the single largest disaster in Coast Guard history.
In Coast Guard, yes.
And Jimmy was on that board. Did he get a Purple Heart for this?
No, because they decided that somehow or another they said that the ammunition was packed too tight, and it caused an explosion. That it wasn't a torpedo come into Guadalcanal. Yeah.
All right. So there was no enemy action, so therefore no Purple Heart.
No Purple Heart.
But Jimmy and his sailor friends are all buried in Arlington National Cemetery. That is really something. This happened in Guadalcanal.
Yes.
What else do you remember? What, you have a ring, don't you?
Yes,
Tell us about this ring.
We sent my brother's pictures to pass around, you know, and he was in a town where he was able to have his picture put on a ring. And so all of a sudden we get this package, and it's 8x10 picture of Mom and me, and I said, we shouldn't have done that because he doesn't have to have all that junk around, you know, they're moving and doing stuff. He said, oh, I love those pictures. He said, most of the guys here want to meet my sister when you come home. And so he sent them home, and now I have his ring.
So it's a ring with his picture.
Picture put on, he had it made over there somewhere. I think they get, what was that thing they would call when they let them go into town? And
Yeah, some kind of leave.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a leaf, yeah.
Well, that's a very special ring. It's a very
yes.
special reminder of Jimmy and
Yes.
his service in this war.
Right, yeah.
Now, did you have a social life?
Yes, I used to hitchhike down to the ballpark in Michigan and Trumbull,
Yeah.
and they would let us get into the games. And we used to like to watch the baseball games. My father loved baseball. And, yeah, and then I worked at the USO for giving donuts and coffee to the guys.
That's, yeah, USO, baseball. How about, did you ever use any of that dancing that
Oh,
your sister?
yes, and at that time they had the trolleys that run the wire trolleys, and we would take that to get to the dance hall. It was called the campus ballroom.
Oh, I'll bet you were a good dancer.
Yeah, I love to dance.
Born in a hotel, and you love to dance. There it is. Good for
Quite a
you.
character.
Now, tell us about your husband. You mentioned him earlier, but now give us his name and how you met, and tell us about him during the service, during the years.
I lived next door to this lady, and we rented her basement apartment. And I joined the Rosies and found out that one of the Rosies, all these 4 years, was living behind me. And neither one of us knew one another. And she said, well, I know your husband. I know his sister. And we didn't ask her to the wedding, you know, but anyway, she wanted to see the wedding pictures and everything. But that's how I met Ed.
Ed, his name was Ed Biestek. Ed Biestek.
Biestek.
Ed Biestek. And did he serve in the services
Yes,
during the war?
he was wounded in one town, and I forget what the name of the town was, but he still had the hole in his leg where a shrapnel, and he had to go, and he got an infection, so he stayed in the hospital there for a while.
But he was in the Army.
Yes.
And what was his job in the Army?
He was, they were servicing the vehicles.
Oh,
Different things, I guess, he did on the vehicles.
okay, so he was a repairman.
He was a repairman. But then when they get him repaired, they had to take him out, and he got hit with shrapnel.
So you were married in 1947.
Yes.
All right, do you have any other memories of that wedding or wedding day or those early years of marriage?
Oh, yeah, we lived in a 25-foot trailer. And my first pregnancy was identical girl twins. That was pretty hard. I had to get the Metropolitan nurse in to give me a hand. But they're all grown up now, and I got a lot of grandchildren.
Now, where did Ed work after the war was over, when he came home from the Army? What did he do?
Yeah, well, that was a problem we had, too. He worked at General Motors. He was a wood model maker, and they were out on strike. So his aunt owned a flower shop on Central in Michigan, and she said, well, you can work for me. You can deliver flowers, you know. Well, then when I met him through my girlfriend was on the other side, and she grew up with the Biesteks. So she said, let's double date. My boyfriend's home from the Marines, so we did. Went down and seen Esther Williams at the big theater in Detroit. It was another big excitement. But anyway, that's how I met Ed, through my girlfriend. Yeah.
I'd be excited if I ever got to see Esther Williams.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
that's-
she had this fancy flowered shower cap on. Stood
Bathing
on-
cap of some sort, yeah.
And yes, and stood over one of these things that wasn't in the water. She just run the water on her. I said, "This is Hollywood."
It is Hollywood. Now, did other family members serve in the military during World War II of yours, or of Ed's?
Yes, actually, it was my cousin that enlisted with my brother,
Right. And what was his name?
Clement Lodge,
Right.
and then we had. Let's see, who else was
Well,
it?
how about Ed? He had brothers in the Army?
Oh yeah, then his side of the family, I mean, he lost his brother Barney in France, and she had him just stay there buried. They sent her pictures of the cemetery and stuff. Okay. And she had 4 in the service and lost 1. And when you lose someone in the service, they give you yellow star to put in the window, yeah. So she had 5 serving in war.
Now, what about the story you told me about Frank and Aloysius?
Yes, they
Ed's
were.
brother, other 2 brothers.
Yeah, the other 2 brothers, they were over in Italy and walking down the street, and we got a picture of it. And he said, "There's my brother." You know, it wasn't that odd to have happened, you know.
Just randomly met each other on the street in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should be proud of all of these family members. You know, you've got a cousin, you've got a brother, you've got brother-in-laws, you've got a husband, all serving in the military, and you are working in the factory for the war effort.
Right, right.
That's wonderfully. When the war ended, did you continue to work at the Rouge plant?
They asked me if I'd like to stay on and work with the cars, and I had to work on the steering wheel rod. And you'd put it in this here machine and step on a lever and then pick it up, and it was heavy and long, and put it in a bin next to you and then continue on. And every now and then, when the inspectors would come by, pick one out to see that I was doing it correct in that, and kind of put more in. If you do a good job, you do more.
That always happens. Well, you had some heavy work then. You were lifting heavy steering wheels, and you were lifting a heavy riveting gun. You must be strong.
Yes.
Good
and
for
then
you.
I said, "Well, I'm quitting." And they said, "Why are you quitting?" I said, "Because I'm pregnant." And that's when I had left the Ford Motor Company.
Well, good for you. Now, give us the names of your children, if you would.
Yes, my twins were Pamela Jane, Patricia Faye, and Constance Marie, and Karen Lynn.
Okay, so you have 4 children: Pam, Patricia, Connie, and Karen. Good for you. And
my husband was raised with 5 boys and 1 girl, and they really, you know, they'd call her honey. And my one sister-in-law got married to one of them. She said, "You stop calling her honey. I'm your honey now." I said, "That don't bother me." They just taught her how to put a wheel, tire on, change a tire, everything. Yeah. But they loved her. She was babied a lot.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love these old family stories. They're important, aren't they?
Yes.
And they bring a smile whenever you think of them.
Yes.
And
yes.
you've got pictures of them, or you've just got memories in your heart of people you've loved
Yes.
and moments in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important.
Yes, yes.
Jane, how do you think World War II affected your life?
It just changed it, really changed it. I was hoping to, you know, graduate, and I left all my friends, you know, but I didn't suffer as much as a lot of people had.
Right.
You know, quite a few killed.
Right. So
Yeah.
you were able to move on and start a new life, really,
Right,
because of the mining disaster, but also World War II and all the things that
I
you did.
never would have met my husband. He's the nicest guy.
Right. Did all of your family today, do your children, your grandchildren, do they all know that you were one of these original Rosie the Riveters?
We've talked about it with them. They all met me at the airport and wished me back, you know.
Well, yeah, tell us about the airport. This was the 2015 honor flight. It was the first ever
Yes,
Rosie
yes.
the Riveter flight to Washington, D.C. Tell us about that day.
I had never flown until I was 67 years old. I'd never flown. And so that was quite a big interest. I mean, I wasn't afraid. We were all Rosies there. If we go down, we'd all go out.
Well, you know, Rosies are never afraid of anything. They're vigorous.
Put that hand up
You
again.
got your hand up. Now, what kind of a reaction was there? Was there a parade, a motorcade, or what surrounded this flight?
Oh, they even blew. There was 4 buses of us going through the town, and it was workers' time. And so the police come along and stopped all the cars at the lights. And I think people were saying, well, who's all those old ladies in the car waving from the window?
And you were all wearing your polka dots.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what about at the airports? Did you get a
sang,
send-off?
They sang to us, and then they took us to Arlington Cemetery and all that stuff. It was really nice.
And you got to see the World War II monument.
Yes.
And each one, there's a pillar for every state.
Yes, I had my picture taken by Montana.
Good. And did you get it taken by Guadalcanal?
Yes, I did. I sat by the fountain there.
See, that's fabulous. You sat there.
Yes.
You didn't get to see the memorial to the Serpents, but you got to have your picture taken by the Guadalcanal pillar for Jimmy.
Right.
For Montana for your whole life.
I know.
And so you got to Arlington, and did you do other things in D.C. that day?
Yes, so we went to the Senate, and we had lunch with the senators, talked to Debbie Dingle, she's from Dearborn.
Yeah.
And it was very nice. Yeah, we had a beautiful lunch in there.
And the firemen, what did the firemen do for you?
Like I say, that was my first flight. They had, I didn't know much about, the latches on the thing, and the fellow that paid for the flight, he said, let me help you, and he fixed it. And then I said, oh God, it's raining. That's terrible, And he was laughing. I said, why are you laughing? We got a rainy day. And he said, the firemen do that. Well, then when we got on the plane to come home, they did it again, and I said, it was nighttime, And I said, oh God, the windows are all wet again. I wasn't much of a flyer.
Well, so you have the firemen that are helping you, you've got the traffic that's helping you, you have people in town and at the airport whistling and clapping and honoring.
Yes.
Honoring the Rosies.
Oh, I would say to the little ones, give me 5. Everybody was hugging them, and I said, no, give me 5.
Oh, I think that's fabulous. I really do. All right, you've got things to show us. We're going to add some pictures to your video, which is great. Do you have anything else to say about your time as a Rosie or during the war, or anything you'd like to add that we didn't cover today?
You pretty much covered everything. I mean, I'd still be in this little town in Red Lodge. I mean, where I got to come and see all this, But very sad time. Our whole life just changed.
It did. It changed. And you should be proud of all the people who were in your family who did so much for this nation.
Yes, I do.
Well, Jean, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes, okay.
And thank you for giving your strength and patriotic energy to America in the 1940s, and for doing your part to help win the war. You have made a difference in this world, and you are truly a heroine. The tribute Rosies from the Yankee Air Museum at the historic Willow Run Bomber Plant are honored to send your story to the Library of Congress at Washington, D.C. We thank you for being a Rosie and for sharing this story.
And I thank you. It's been very nice talking to you.